So today I'm going to teach you the basics of Pygame, which is a module in Python that allows you to build simple 2D games. So today I'm going to teach you how to draw your character, how to move it, how to jump, so basic movement control, and etc. So the first thing to do is to install Pygame. So open command prompt on Windows or the terminal on Mac and Linux and type pip install Pygame like that, and this should install it for you. So now you can import it into your code so that you are allowed to use it. And then you just have to initialize it. So I'm going to type pygame.init. This isn't going to do anything. This is just going to initialize the module. So now you can use it. Okay, so the first thing to do is to create our game window. So I'm going to create a variable called window, which is going to equal pygame.display.set mode, like that, parenthesis, and then another parenthesis, and then inside of the parenthesis, I'm going to write the dimensions of my screen. So my screen, my game window. So my game window is going to be 600 by 600 pixels because that's what fits the dimensions of my screen, but you can adjust this to your own screen dimensions. Okay, so it's that simple. You just run the game and a window is going to pop up. The problem is when you click this X right here, nothing is going to happen, right? The window isn't going to close. So let's fix that. Let me just close this. Okay, so let's fix that. I'm going to write a variable called run equals true, and then I'm going to code our main loop. So our main loop is basically where you're going to code every event that happens in your game. So when you press a key, when you jump, when you move your character, when you close the game window, all of those events are going to be coded in here. So now I'm going to code the set of commands that allows you to close your game window. So I'm going to write while run, and then I'm going to write for event in pygame.event.get, and then I'm going to nest an if statement in here. So if event.type equals pygame.quit in all caps like that, then run is going to equal false. Capital letter there. Okay, so what does this do? So basically I've defined a variable run, which is going to equal true by default. So by default, your game is going to be running when you run the code. And then while run, so while the game is running, for event in all the events possible in Pygame, so pygame.event.get, if the type of that event is pygame.quit, so you closing the window and quitting the game, then run is going to equal false, so the game is going to close. And down here, I'm just going to write pygame.quit like that. And then if I run the code, the window pops up, and you can see that when I click the little cross, the window closes. Wait, let me just run that again. Okay, so you can see here that it says Pygame window. So this is the default name that Pygame gives your game. So that's not a cool name. So I'm going to change that. So to do that, I'm just going to write pygame dot display dot set caption like that. And then inside of here, I'm going to write the name of my game. My game is going to be called Cool Game. Okay, and now if I run the code, all right, the window pops up, and Cool Game is now the name of our window. Okay, so we've created our window. Let's start creating our character. So at first, our character is just going to be a rectangle, and then you're going to add images if you want to, create a real character. So in here in the main loop, you notice that I had to move the indentation back, so I had to do that. And then I'm going to draw my rectangle. So I'm going to write pygame.draw.rect like so. And then inside of these parentheses, I'm going to define the characteristics of my rectangle. So it's obviously going to be drawn on my window. And then the color is going to be RGB. So I want mine to be blue, so I'm going to write 00255. In case you're not familiar with this, this is RGB color system, so this is going to be blue. 0255 is going to be, 0255 0 is going to be green, and then 255 0 is going to be red, and then 000 is going to be black, 255 255 255 is going to be white. And then if you just give arbitrary values to those parameters, it's just going to create all the colors in between. Okay, so now I have to define the position of my rectangle, so where exactly on my window it's going to be drawn, and then its width and height, so the dimensions. So actually, let me create a few variables up here. So the x position is going to be 50, the y position is going to be 50, and the way these positions work in Pygame is from the top left. So the top left is going to be 0, 0, and then the y is actually going to increase as you go down. So picture a Cartesian graph where the y-axis is upside down. So it increases when you move down. So this is going to be 0, 600, the height, and then this is going to be so 600, 0, right? And this is going to be, so let me think, 600, 600. And this, of course, has to do with the dimension of my screen. Okay, so now the dimensions of my rectangle, the width is going to be 50, and the height is going to be 50, so it's actually going to be a square. Oh, sorry about that. Okay. And now let's just put all of those in here. So x, y, width, and height. And now you have to write pygame.display.update for the square to actually appear on your game window. So if I if I run the code, my blue square is going to be here on my window. Okay, so let's allow our character to move. So to do that, I'm going to create here a dictionary that's going to be called keys, and it's going to equal pygame dot what is it, key dot get pressed, I think. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so pygame dot key dot get pressed generates a dictionary with all the keys in your keyboard, and by default the value of those keys is going to be false, and then if you press a key, then the value of that key is going to be true. So you can define which keys are being pressed and what they do. And so down here, I'm going to write an if statement, and you access the keys in this dictionary the same way you access the keys in a different dictionary, so in all dictionaries. So I'm going to write keys, which is the name of the dictionary, and then inside of here, I'm going to write the key, and it's going to be pygame dot k, and then left. So this is going to represent the left arrow. And then inside of here, so the left arrow is going to move my rectangle left. So the x position is actually going to decrease. So x minus equals 1. The problem with this is that the square is going to move indefinitely. So it's actually going to get to a point where it's going to move outside my game window. And so I have to limit this with an and statement. So x needs to be greater than 0, right? Okay, and now I'm just going to copy this, do all of this with the other keys. Kind of sucks, but it has to be done. So pygame.k and then right. This is going to be the right arrow. And then the x is going to increase, right? It's going right. And then if keys, it's going to be pygame.k up. And the y-axis in Pygame, wait, let me just move this down. The y-axis in Pygame is actually inverted, like I said. So when my character is going up, the y is actually going to decrease. So it's going to minus equals 1. And then if keys, pygame.k, and then down, my y position is going to increase, so plus equals 1. And now I have to limit all this just like I did with the left arrow. So in order to make my rectangle not leave the screen when it's moving right, its position is going to have to be smaller than the width of my screen plus the width of the square, right? So I'm going to write and x is smaller than the width of my screen, which is going to be 600, minus, and then the width of the rectangle, which is going to be width. And the same thing with the y. So, and y, when it's moving up, y has to be smaller than 0. Sorry, greater than 0. And up here, down here, it's going to be y is going to be smaller than our height of our screen, and then the height of the rectangle. Okay, so let's run the code. Let's see if this works. Okay, you can see that when I press these keys, uh, the rectangle is just going to like create a mess here. This is because you have to fill your background in order for the rectangle to not do that. Because when you move your rectangle, it's actually just going to draw a new rectangle every time. So you have to fill your game window. To do that, you're just going to write window.fill. And I'm going to fill my window with black, so 0, 0, 0. And then let's run that code. Okay, and now you can see that my square is moving.